Nestled amidst the dense, whispering woods of Sylvan Hollow, Rookwood Hall loomed, a haunting silhouette against the bruised evening sky. Its stone walls, ravaged by time and neglect, stood as a testament to an era long past. Once a magnificent estate in its heyday, the hall now exuded an aura of chilling mystery, drawing the curious and the brave, or perhaps the foolish, to its aging grounds. Lisa Morales stood at the wrought iron gates, the cool autumn breeze tugging at her auburn hair. Her heart thudded with a mix of trepidation and exhilaration. She had heard the stories, the whispers of ghostly apparitions and the strange occurrences that plagued the derelict mansion. Local legend painted Rookwood Hall as a place of secrets and shadows, a reputation that had only deepened her curiosity. "Are you sure about this, Lisa?" her friend Josh Parker asked, his voice a blend of skepticism and concern. He shifted uneasily beside her, his hands buried deep in the pockets of his faded jacket. The reluctant adventurer, Josh had always preferred the safety of routine. But Lisa's relentless spirit often pulled him into the orbit of the unknown. "Positive," Lisa replied, her voice steady. "There's something about this place. I can feel it. Besides," she added with a teasing grin, "aren't you even a little bit curious?" Josh sighed, glancing at the imposing structure beyond the gates. "Curious, maybe, but I also like my bones unbroken." "What do you hope to find in there, anyway?" "I'm not sure," Lisa admitted, her eyes bright with anticipation. "But I have a hunch there's more to Rookwood Hall than ghost stories. Besides, it'd make an awesome article for the school paper." With a resigned nod, Josh followed Lisa as she slipped through a gap in the rusted gate. The path leading up to the hall was overgrown with weeds and brambles, the remains of what was once a meticulously tended garden. Each step closer to the mansion heightened the sense of unease that clung to the air, as if the very ground beneath their feet hummed with untold tales. As they approached the entrance, an eerie silence enveloped them, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves caught in the wind. The hall's massive wooden doors creaked ominously as Lisa pushed them open, revealing a grand foyer bathed in the dim glow of twilight filtering through cracked stained glass windows. Inside, the air was thick with the scent of dust and decay. Ornate chandeliers hung precariously from the ceiling, their crystals dulled by layers of grime. Faded tapestries depicting scenes of pastoral beauty lined the walls, their colors muted by the passage of time. The atmosphere was oppressive, the weight of history pressing down like a tangible force. "Looks like no one's been here in decades," Josh observed, peering around with wary eyes. His voice echoed slightly in the vast space, adding to the sense of isolation. "That's what makes it perfect," Lisa responded, her gaze sweeping over the room. She could almost hear the echoes of laughter and music that once filled these halls, a testament to the grandeur of a bygone era. Their footsteps were soft against the marble floors as they ventured deeper into the mansion. Each room they passed spoke of faded elegance. A ballroom with a cracked floor, a library with shelves lined with dust-covered tomes, and a dining hall where a grand table stood, a solitary relic surrounded by emptiness. "Did you hear that?" Josh whispered suddenly, freezing in place. His eyes darted nervously toward the shadows pooling in the corners of the room. Lisa paused, straining to listen. For a moment, all was silent. Then, faintly, like a distant whisper carried on the wind, they heard it. A soft, melodic humming. The sound was ethereal, almost otherworldly, and it seemed to beckon them deeper into the heart of the hall. "Maybe it's just the wind," Josh suggested, though his voice lacked conviction. His eyes met Lisa's, and she could see the flicker of curiosity that mirrored her own. "Only one way to find out," Lisa said, her resolve firm. She turned toward the source of the haunting melody, leading them through a labyrinth of corridors and staircases that seemed to spiral endlessly into the mansion's depths. The sound grew clearer as they descended, its melody weaving through the air like a siren's call. Lisa's heart quickened, a mix of fear and anticipation thrumming through her veins. Whatever awaited them, she was certain it would reveal the secrets that lay hidden within Rookwood Hall. They reached a narrow staircase that descended into darkness, the air cooler and thicker with every step. The humming grew louder, echoing off the stone walls with an unearthly clarity. Lisa felt a shiver run down her spine as they reached the bottom and found themselves in a dimly lit basement, the walls lined with shelves filled with dusty artifacts and forgotten relics. In the center of the room stood an old phonograph, its horn gleaming dimly in the flickering light of a single candle. The needle hovered just above the spinning record, the source of the haunting melody that had guided them here. Who would leave this running? Josh wondered aloud, his voice a mere whisper in the stillness. "I don't know," Lisa replied, her gaze fixed on the phonograph. "But I think we just found our first clue." As they stood in the dim glow of the forgotten basement, the mysteries of Rookwood Hall seemed to reach out, wrapping them in a tapestry of intrigue and uncertainty. Whatever secrets this place held, Lisa was determined to uncover them, driven by an insatiable curiosity that refused to be silenced. "Let's see what else this hall is hiding," she said, her voice steady with determination. With Josh by her side, Lisa knew they were only at the beginning of their journey into the heart of Rookwood Hall's enigma. Lisa and Josh stood in the dim, musty basement of Rookwood Hall, their eyes adjusting to the flickering candlelight that barely illuminated the room. The haunting melody from the old phonograph continued to fill the air, its eerie tune weaving through the dust and shadows like a specter from another time. Lisa's mind raced with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. She was acutely aware of the historical significance of their surroundings and the potential secrets buried within the walls of the old manor. Her determination to uncover these mysteries was fueled by an insatiable curiosity that refused to be silenced. "Look at these," Josh said, breaking the silence as he pointed to a row of dusty books lining a shelf. The spines were cracked and faded, their titles barely legible in the dim light. "These must be ancient. Imagine what we could learn from them." Lisa turned her attention to the books, tracing her fingers along their spines. "These could hold clues about the people who lived here," she mused, "or even why this place was abandoned." The basement felt like a time capsule, each object whispering stories of the past. Lisa's gaze drifted to a peculiar portrait hanging crookedly on the wall. It depicted a stern-faced man in Victorian attire, his eyes seeming to follow them across the room. There was something about his expression that sent a shiver down her spine. "Who do you think that is?" Josh asked, noticing her gaze. "I'm not sure," Lisa replied, stepping closer to examine the portrait. "But I have a feeling he might be important. Maybe he's connected to why this place fell into disrepair." Josh nodded, looking around the room with a newfound sense of purpose. "We need to find out more about him. Maybe there's something in these books or somewhere else in the house that can tell us who he is." The thought of unearthing the history of Rookwood Hall was exhilarating. Lisa felt a sense of adventure tingling in her veins, a feeling she hadn't experienced in a long time. Yet, there was also a sense of foreboding hanging over the room. a reminder that not all secrets were meant to be uncovered. As they continued to explore the basement, Lisa's thoughts wandered back to the events that had led them here. She remembered the stories her grandmother used to tell about the grandeur of Rookwood Hall in its heyday, how it was once the center of social life in the area. But those stories always ended with a shadow, an unsolved mystery that hung over the manor like a dark cloud. What if this is connected to the stories my grandmother used to tell? Lisa wondered aloud, her voice barely above a whisper. Josh paused, considering her words. You mean the stories about the disappearances? Lisa nodded, her eyes fixed on a rusted iron key lying on a small table. Yes, exactly. There was always something off about those tales. People disappearing without a trace, and then the hall just falling silent. The key seemed oddly out of place, as if it had been left there deliberately. Lisa picked it up, feeling its cold, metallic weight in her hand. This might open something important, she said, her voice heavy with anticipation. Or lead us into trouble, Josh cautioned, though a glint of excitement danced in his eyes. Lisa couldn't help but smile. Isn't that what makes it all the more thrilling? With the key in hand, they decided to let the phonograph continue its ghostly serenade, and made their way back up the narrow, creaking staircase. The house loomed around them, its shadows deep and whispering, as if urging them onward. As they entered the grand hallway, their footsteps echoed softly against the marble floor. The once majestic decor of Rookwood Hall was now faded and dusty, yet it still held a certain charm, a reminder of its former glory. Ornate chandeliers hung from the ceiling, their crystals tinkling softly in the slight breeze that whispered through the cracked windows. Where should we start? Josh asked, glancing around at the numerous doors that lined the hallway. Lisa pondered for a moment, the iron key cool in her palm. Let's start with the study. If the owner left anything behind, it might be there. The study was located at the end of the hallway, its heavy oak door slightly ajar as if inviting them in. Lisa pushed it open and stepped inside, followed closely by Josh. The room was bathed in a gentle amber glow from the setting sun that filtered through the tall, narrow windows, casting long shadows on the floor. The study was a treasure trove of antiquities. Bookshelves lined the walls, filled with volumes of all sizes, papers scattered across its surface as if the owner had left in a hurry. There's so much here, Josh said, his voice filled with awe. Lisa nodded, her eyes scanning the room. We need to look for anything that might give us a clue about the man in the portrait or the key. They began searching through the papers on the desk, carefully sifting through letters, notes, and documents. Each piece seemed to tell a fragment of a story, a disjointed narrative of a life once lived within these walls. Look at this, Josh said, holding up a letter with a broken seal. The paper was yellowed with age, the ink faded but still legible. Lisa took the letter, her eyes quickly skimming the contents. It's a letter from someone named Eleanor, she said, her voice tinged with excitement. She mentions a hidden room and something about keeping the secret safe. A hidden room? Josh echoed, his curiosity piqued. Do you think that's where the key comes in? Possibly, Lisa replied, her mind racing with possibilities. If we can find this hidden room, maybe we can finally understand what happened here. The idea of a hidden room was both thrilling and daunting. It hinted at secrets long buried, secrets that might change everything they thought they knew about Rookwood Hall. As they continued their search, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the room into a twilight haze. Lisa felt a sense of urgency building within her. They were on the brink of something significant, and she couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. She glanced at Josh, seeing the same determination mirrored in his eyes. "Let's find that room," she said, her voice steady with resolve. The study held no further clues, so they ventured back into the hallway, their footsteps echoing once more in the silence of the house. The shadows seemed to deepen around them, as if the house itself was coming alive, watching, waiting. "Maybe there's a clue in the architecture," Josh suggested as they examined the walls and floors for any signs of a hidden passage. Lisa nodded, inspecting the paneling for any irregularities. Her fingers brushed against a decorative molding, feeling for a hidden latch or button. "There has to be something we're missing," she muttered, her frustration growing. Just as she was about to move on, she felt a slight give beneath her fingertips. Her heart skipped a beat as she pressed harder, and a section of the paneling clicked open, revealing a narrow passageway hidden in the shadows. "I can't believe it," Josh whispered, peering into the darkness. Lisa's pulse quickened. This was it, their chance to uncover the truth. She held up the iron key, its surface glinting ominously in the dim light. "Let's see where this leads." Together, they stepped into the hidden passage, the air cool and damp around them. The walls felt close and confining, pressing in on them as they moved deeper into the darkness. The passage twisted and turned, a labyrinth of secrets that seemed to stretch on endlessly. Finally, they reached a heavy wooden door, its surface scarred by time. Lisa inserted the key into the lock, her hands trembling with anticipation. With a soft click, the door swung open, revealing a small, dusty chamber. The room was filled with old furniture draped in white sheets, like specters frozen in time. Cobwebs hung from the corners, and dust motes danced in the faint light that filtered in from a small high window. In the center of the room stood a large, ornate chest, its surface inlaid with intricate designs. "This must be it?" Lisa breathed, a sense of awe washing over her. Josh nodded, his eyes wide with wonder. "Do you think this is what Eleanor was talking about?" "Only one way to find out," Lisa said, stepping forward to examine the chest. She traced her fingers over the carvings, feeling a sense of history emanating from the wood. As she lifted the lid, a musty smell rose from within, a scent of age and forgotten memories. Inside, they found a collection of old journals, their pages yellowed and brittle with time. Lisa picked one up, carefully opening it to reveal spidery handwriting. "These could be invaluable," she said, her voice filled with excitement. "They might tell us everything we need to know." Josh reached for another journal, his eyes scanning the pages. "This one mentions a sacred duties and protecting something valuable." Lisa's heart raced as she read through the journals, piecing together the fragments of a story that had been hidden away for decades. The journals spoke of a family legacy, a duty passed down through generations to safeguard a secret that could change everything. "We need to take these with us," Lisa said, her mind whirling with possibilities. "There's so much to uncover here, and I have a feeling we've only scratched the surface." Josh nodded, carefully stacking the journals in a bag. "We should get out of here before it gets too late. We can go through these at home and see what we can find." As they made their way back through the passage, the weight of their discovery settled over them. They had unearthed a piece of the past, a secret that had lain buried for too long. Yet, with it came a responsibility, a duty to understand and protect the truth they had uncovered. Once back in the hallway, Lisa glanced around at the shadows that lingered in the corners, a reminder of the mysteries that still lay hidden within Rookwood Hall. The house had not yet revealed all its secrets, and she knew their journey was far from over. "We'll come back," she said, meeting Josh's gaze. "There's still so much to learn, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning." Josh smiled, a sense of camaraderie and adventure binding them together. "I wouldn't miss it for anything." As they left Rookwood Hall behind, the moon hung low in the sky, casting its silver light over the landscape. The manor stood silent, its secrets waiting patiently for those brave enough to seek them out. Lisa felt a sense of exhilaration and anticipation, knowing that they were on the brink of something extraordinary. The mysteries of Rookwood Hall had woven their way into her heart, and she was determined to see them through to the end, no matter where the journey might lead. Lisa and Josh spent the drive back from Rookwood Hall in contemplative silence. The old manor's mysteries buzzed between them, an electric promise of the unknown. Lisa focused on the road, her mind still drawn to the cryptic symbols they had found etched into the dusty floorboards, while Josh stared out the window, watching the moonlit countryside slide by, lost in thought. Once they reached the sleepy little town of Ravenswood, Lisa parked the car in her driveway and turned off the engine. They sat for a moment in the dark, the only sound the gentle ticking of the cooling engine. "Do you think we'll find more clues next time?" Josh asked, breaking the silence. "I hope so," Lisa replied. "There's something about that place. It's like it's trying to tell us something." Josh nodded, understanding what she meant. Rookwood Hall had an undeniable presence, as if the house itself were alive, whispering its secrets to those patient enough to listen. They climbed out of the car and walked up the path to Lisa's porch. The porch light flickered, casting an uncertain glow over the neat rows of flowers in the garden. Lisa paused, her fingers brushing against the rough fabric of her jacket, feeling the weight of the small notebook tucked into her pocket. Her fingers itched to explore its contents again, the mysterious sketches and jotted notes they had discovered in a dusty corner of the library. "Do you want to come in for a bit?" Lisa offered, gesturing to the door. "Sure," Josh said, a grin spreading across his face. "I could use a cup of coffee." Inside, the house was warm and inviting. The soft glow of the lamps gave the room a cozy feel, contrasting sharply with the eerie chill of Rookwood Hall. Lisa's mother had left a note on the kitchen table, reminding her to clean up the garage over the weekend. Typical, Lisa thought with a wry smile. Even a mysterious manor couldn't exempt her from chores. Josh settled onto the couch, stretching his lanky frame across the cushions. Lisa busied herself in the kitchen, the familiar ritual of brewing coffee grounding her thoughts. As the rich aroma filled the air, she felt a little of the night's tension slip away. "Here you go," she said, handing Josh a steaming mug. He took it with a grateful nod, sipping cautiously at the hot liquid. "So what's our next move?" Josh asked, setting his cup down on the coffee table. Lisa joined him on the couch, pulling the notebook from her pocket. Its worn leather cover was cool to the touch, its pages yellowed with age. She opened it to the first page, where a faded sketch of Rookwood Hall was accompanied by a series of numbers and letters. "I think we need to figure out what these mean," Lisa said, tapping the page. "They might be coordinates or some kind of code." Josh leaned closer, squinting at the scribbles. "Could be a cipher. My uncle's into that kind of thing, codes, puzzles. Maybe he could help us." Lisa considered this. Josh's uncle, Professor Avery, was known for his eccentric interests and encyclopedic knowledge of obscure topics. If anyone could decipher the notes, it might be him. "That's a great idea," Lisa said. "Do you think he'd mind if we showed him this?" "Nah, he'd love it. He'll probably talk our ears off about it," Josh replied with a chuckle. Feeling more optimistic, they spent the next hour poring over the notebook, discussing theories and possibilities. The clock ticked on, and fatigue began to weigh on them. Eventually, Lisa let out a yawn, her eyelids drooping. "I think we should call it a night. We can visit your uncle tomorrow." Josh nodded, stretching lazily. "Sounds good." "Thanks for the coffee, Lisa." They said their goodbyes, and Josh headed out into the night, the cool air invigorating against his skin. As Lisa watched him disappear down the street, she felt a thrill of anticipation. Tomorrow, they would unravel the mystery of the notebook, and perhaps uncover another piece of the puzzle. The next morning dawned bright and clear, a stark contrast to the shadowy intrigue of the previous evening. Ravenswood was a town that woke slowly, its residents easing into the day with leisurely breakfasts and languid strolls down tree-lined streets. Lisa spent the early hours tidying the house, her mind never straying far from the notebook and its cryptic contents. When Josh arrived just after 10, they wasted no time in setting off for his uncle's house. Professor Avery lived on the outskirts of town, in a rambling old house that was a treasure trove of curiosities and oddities. The professor was a man of many interests, and his home was testament to a lifetime of collecting. They arrived to find the professor puttering around his garden, his hands buried in the rich soil as he tended to a patch of vegetables. He looked up with a warm smile as they approached, wiping his hands on his trousers. "Josh, Lisa, what a pleasant surprise!" Professor Avery greeted them, his eyes twinkling with curiosity. "Hey, Uncle Avery," Josh said. "We were wondering if you could help us with something." "We found this notebook," Lisa explained, holding it out to him. "We think it might be a code or something." Professor Avery accepted the notebook with reverence, as though handling a rare artifact. He flipped through the pages, his eyes scanning the sketches and notes with growing interest. "Fascinating," he murmured, rubbing his chin thoughtfully. "Where did you find this?" "Rookwood Hall," Lisa replied, watching his reaction carefully. Avery's eyebrows rose. "Ah, Rookwood Hall. A place steeped in history and mystery. It's been years since I visited there." He moved to a nearby bench, gesturing for them to join him. As they sat, he began to explain the significance of what they had discovered. "This appears to be a cipher," he said, tracing the symbols with his finger. "The numbers and letters. They could be coordinates, or perhaps a key to something hidden." Josh leaned forward, eager to learn more. "Can you crack it?" Professor Avery chuckled, a gleam of excitement in his eyes. "I can certainly try. It might take some time, but I'm always up for a challenge." Lisa felt a sense of relief. Having Avery on their side was a significant advantage. His knowledge and enthusiasm were infectious, bolstering their resolve to uncover the secrets of Rookwood Hall. Thank you, Professor, Lisa said sincerely. We really appreciate your help. It's my pleasure, Avery replied, already lost in the depths of the notebook. Come back in a few days, and I should have something for you. With their spirits lifted, Lisa and Josh left the professor to his work and returned to the car. The sun was high in the sky now, casting long shadows across the road as they drove back into town. What do you think we'll find? Josh asked, glancing over at Lisa. I'm not sure, Lisa admitted. But whatever it is, it's important. I can feel it. Josh nodded, understanding her conviction. Rookwood Hall's mysteries had become a part of them, a call they couldn't ignore. As they reached the town center, they decided to grab lunch at their favorite cafe, a quaint little spot with checkered tablecloths and a menu full of delicious sandwiches. They settled into a corner booth, the comforting hum of conversation and the clatter of dishes surrounding them. So, what do you think Rookwood Hall was used for? Josh asked between bites of his turkey club sandwich. Lisa considered the question. I have no idea, she admitted, taking a sip of her iced tea. But I think it was more than just a home. It's too big, too elaborate. Maybe it was a meeting place or a hideout for... Josh's voice dropped to a conspiratorial whisper. Spies. Lisa laughed, the sound ringing out across the cafe. Spies? Really? Eh? It could happen, Josh said with a grin. You never know. They spent the rest of their meal speculating on the possibilities, each theory more outlandish than the last. It was fun to let their imaginations run wild, and by the time they left the cafe, they were in high spirits, ready to face whatever challenges the mystery might present. The days that followed stretched interminably, each one marked by a growing sense of anticipation as they awaited news from Professor Avery. Lisa found it difficult to concentrate on her schoolwork, her thoughts constantly drifting back to Rookwood Hall and the secrets it held. Finally, the call came. Professor Avery had made a breakthrough. Lisa and Josh met at the edge of town, both practically buzzing with excitement. As they drove to the professor's house, the tension in the air was palpable, a heady mix of curiosity and impatience. Professor Avery greeted them at the door, his face alight with triumph. Come in, come in. I have much to show you. He led them into his study, a cluttered room filled with books, maps, and curious artifacts. A large desk dominated the space, covered in papers and charts. Avery motioned for them to sit, his enthusiasm infectious. I've deciphered the code, he announced, holding up the notebook. It's a series of coordinates leading to a location not far from Rookwood Hall. Lisa felt her heart skip a beat. Coordinates? To what? That, I'm afraid, is something you'll have to discover for yourselves, Avery said with a twinkle in his eye. But I suspect it holds the key to understanding the hall's true purpose. Josh leaned forward, eager to learn more. Where do they lead? Avery spread a map across the desk, pointing to a spot marked with a red X. Here, in the woods just beyond the estate. It's a secluded area, perfect for hiding something important. Lisa and Josh exchanged a glance, their minds racing with possibilities. Whatever lay hidden in those woods was within their grasp, a tantalizing thread in the tapestry of Rookwood Hall's mysteries. Thank you, Professor, Lisa said, her voice filled with gratitude. We couldn't have done this without you. It's been my pleasure, Avery replied. Do be careful, though. The past has a way of reaching out to the present in unexpected ways. With the professor's warning echoing in their minds, Lisa and Josh headed back to the car, a new determination driving them forward. Their destination was clear, the path laid out before them like a challenge waiting to be answered. As they drove toward the estate, the landscape shifted from the familiar streets of Ravenswood to the untamed beauty of the countryside. The road wound through rolling hills and dense forests, the trees standing tall like silent sentinels guarding the secrets of the past. Rookwood Hall loomed in the distance, a silhouette against the sky. Lisa felt a thrill of anticipation, her heart pounding in time with the rhythm of the road beneath the wheels. They parked at the edge of the estate, the coordinates leading them into the heart of the woods. The air was cool and fragrant with the scent of pine, the only sound the rustle of leaves underfoot. Armed with a compass and a sense of adventure, Lisa and Josh set off into the forest, the trees closing in around them like a living tapestry. The path was narrow and winding, the sunlight filtering through the canopy in dappled patterns. As they walked, the world seemed to fall away, leaving only the thrill of discovery and the promise of the unknown. The coordinates led them deeper into the woods, far from the prying eyes of the outside world. Finally, they arrived at the spot marked on the map. It was a small clearing surrounded by ancient trees that stood like guardians of a forgotten secret. In the center of the clearing lay a stone, weathered in moss, covered, its surface marked with the same symbols they had found in the notebook. Lisa knelt beside the stone, tracing the symbols with her fingers. "This is it," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Josh joined her, his eyes wide with wonder. "But what does it mean?" Lisa studied the stone, her mind piecing together the fragments of the puzzle. "I think it's a marker," she said slowly, "a clue to something hidden beneath." They exchanged a glance, realizing the implications of her words. With renewed determination, they began to clear away the debris, uncovering a trapdoor cleverly concealed beneath the undergrowth. With a sense of reverence, Lisa grasped the iron handle and lifted the door, revealing a staircase that descended into darkness. The air that wafted up from below was cool, tinged with the scent of earth and age. "Are you ready?" Josh asked, his voice steady despite the uncertainty that lay ahead. Lisa nodded, the thrill of discovery coursing through her veins. Together they stepped into the unknown, the shadows of the past closing in around them like a shroud. As they descended into the depths, their footsteps echoed in the silence, a reminder of the journey they had undertaken and the mysteries yet to be unveiled. Whatever secrets lay hidden beneath Rookwood Hall, they were determined to uncover them, one step at a time. The staircase wound downward, the air growing cooler and more oppressive the deeper they ventured. The darkness pressed in from all sides, their flashlight beams slicing through the gloom like knives. Every creak and groan of the ancient wood seemed magnified in the silence, heightening their senses and setting their nerves on edge. Lisa's heart raced, her mind a whirlwind of possibilities. What lay at the bottom of these stairs? A treasure trove of forgotten artifacts. A hidden chamber with ties to history. Or perhaps something more sinister, buried in the shadows of time. As they reached the bottom, the staircase opened into a large chamber, its walls lined with shelves filled with dusty tomes, faded maps, and mysterious artifacts. The air was thick with the scent of old paper and secrets long kept. Josh let out a low whistle, his eyes wide with awe. This is incredible. Lisa nodded, taking in the scene before her. The room was a testament to the past, a forgotten repository of knowledge and mystery. Each shelf held its own story, waiting to be discovered. They began to explore, their fingers tracing the spines of ancient books, their eyes scanning the faded maps for clues. The artifacts were a mix of the mundane and the extraordinary, each one a piece of a puzzle yet to be solved. In the center of the room stood a large wooden table, its surface covered in papers and parchments. Lisa approached it, her curiosity piqued by the array of documents before her. "This looks like a ledger," she said, picking up a faded sheet of paper. "Dates, names, it's a record of some kind." Josh peered over her shoulder, his brow furrowing in concentration. Maybe it was used to track something. Transactions? Meetings? Lisa nodded, scanning the entries for any familiar names or dates. Whatever it is, it's important. It might be the key to understanding what was going on here. They continued to search, their excitement growing with each new discovery. As they delved deeper into the contents of the room, a picture began to form. A story of intrigue and secrecy woven into the very fabric of the manor. In a dusty corner, Lisa found a small chest, its lid slightly ajar. Inside were letters, yellowed with age and tied with a faded ribbon. She picked one up, the elegant script catching her eye. "These are personal letters," she said, handing one to Josh. "They might tell us more about the people who lived here." Josh unfolded the letter, his eyes scanning the lines of text. It mentions a meeting at Rookwood Hall. Something about a society? Lisa's heart skipped a beat. A society? Could the manor have been a gathering place for a secret organization? A place where plans were made and secrets exchanged? The thought sent a shiver down her spine, her mind racing with possibilities. The ledger, the letters, the hidden chamber. They were all pieces of a puzzle, a tapestry of mystery waiting to be unraveled. As they continued to explore, the room seemed to pulse with the echoes of the past, the shadows of history woven into its very walls. Whatever secrets lay hidden here, they were determined to uncover them, to bring the truth to light, and unravel the mysteries of Rookwood Hall. With each discovery, the manor's history unfolded before them, a story of intrigue and secrecy that had been buried in the shadows for far too long. Lisa and Josh had taken the first steps on a journey that would change their lives forever. A journey into the heart of mystery, where the past and present intertwined in a dance of secrets waiting to be revealed. As they left the chamber and descended the staircase, the weight of their discovery settled over them like a mantle, the promise of the unknown still whispering in their ears. The mysteries of Rookwood Hall were far from solved, but with each step, they drew closer to the truth, ready to face whatever lay ahead in their quest for answers. With the shadows of the past as their guide, Lisa and Josh were prepared to unearth the secrets of Rookwood Hall, to uncover the truth buried in the depths of history, and to bring its mysteries to light for all to see. Whatever challenges awaited them, they would face them together, their bond strengthened by the thrill of discovery and the promise of adventure. The day dawned in a muted palette of grays and blues, the sky overhead a swirling canvas of cloud and shadow. Lisa awoke with the sense of anticipation tingling through her veins, vividly recalling the events of the previous day. Her dreams had been filled with whispering corridors and shadowy figures, and now, as she lay in bed, she could feel the pull of Rookwood Hall, urging her back to its depths. She glanced over at the small clock on her nightstand, its face a delicate dance of gold and ivory numbers. It was barely past 7, and the house was still cloaked in the quiet of early morning. There was a certain stillness in these hours that she cherished, a fleeting moment of peace before the world demanded its due. She threw back the covers, the chill in the air biting at her skin, as she quickly pulled on a thick sweater and jeans. As she descended the narrow staircase to the kitchen, the familiar creak of the third step echoed through the house. Her mother, Helen, was bustling about, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and toast permeating the air. Helen looked up, her eyes warm and inquisitive. "Did you sleep well, Lisa?" Lisa nodded, a smile playing at the corners of her lips. "Well enough. I'm heading out with Josh again today. We want to explore more of the hall." Helen paused, her hands resting against the countertop. "Just be careful. That place is old and full of secrets." With a promise to be cautious, Lisa grabbed an apple from the counter and slipped out the front door, the crisp morning air wrapping around her like a bracing embrace. The walk to Josh's house was a familiar one, the path winding through the grove of ancient oaks that lined the street. Josh was waiting outside his house, a backpack slung over one shoulder and an expression of eager determination on his face. "You ready for this?" he called out as she approached. "As ready as I'll ever be," Lisa replied, falling into step beside him. "I couldn't stop thinking about what we found yesterday." Josh nodded, his eyes alight with intrigue. "Neither could I. There's something about that place, something that feels significant." They reached Rookwood Hall, its imposing structure looming against the morning sky, and paused at the gate. The iron bars were cold beneath their fingers as they pushed it open, the metal groaning in protest. The path leading to the entrance was shrouded in fog, twining through the garden like a ghostly river. Inside, the hall was silent, the air tinged with the scent of dust and old wood. The chamber they had discovered yesterday seemed to beckon them, the hidden door still slightly ajar, a dark mouth leading into the unknown. Lisa hesitated at the threshold, her mind swirling with the possibilities that awaited them. "Do you think there are more rooms like this? Places hidden away?" Josh shrugged, his expression thoughtful. "There's only one way to find out." Together they ventured deeper, the narrow staircase descending into the heart of the manor. The walls seemed to close in around them, the air thick with an almost palpable tension. As they reached the bottom, the room they had uncovered lay ahead, a memory of whispers and shadows. "Should we start here?" Lisa suggested, her voice echoing softly against the stone walls. Josh nodded, pulling a flashlight from his backpack. "We should look for anything we might have missed." They moved through the chamber with a sense of purpose, examining every nook and cranny. The floor was covered in a fine layer of dust, undisturbed except for the tracks they had left the previous day. The shelves were lined with books and trinkets, relics from a time long past. Lisa's gaze was drawn to a low cabinet tucked into the corner of the room. The wood was dark and polished, the carvings intricate and ornate. She knelt down, running her fingers over the surface, feeling the grooves and patterns beneath her touch. With a gentle push, the door swung open, revealing a collection of old journals, their covers worn and faded. "Josh, look at this," she called, her voice barely a whisper in the quiet. He joined her, eyes widening at the discovery. These could be important. They might give us more insight into what happened here. Lisa carefully lifted one of the journals, the pages crackling softly as she opened it. The handwriting inside was elegant and flowing, a testament to a time when penmanship was an art form. She scanned the first few pages, the words a glimpse into the life of someone who had once called this place home. "It's a journal," she said, glancing up at Josh. "It looks like it belonged to someone who lived here. Maybe even one of the owners." Josh leaned closer, peering at the page. "Can you make anything out?" Lisa squinted, the faint light flickering over the ink. "It's hard to read, but there's mention of a meeting, a secret gathering of some sort. It sounds like they were planning something." "A secret meeting?" Josh echoed, his curiosity piqued. "Could it be connected to the history of the hall?" "Possibly. There's something else here too. It mentions a map, though it doesn't say what it's for." Josh raised an eyebrow, his mind whirring with possibilities. A map could lead us to more hidden rooms. Or maybe something even more significant. Lisa closed the journal gently, placing it back in the cabinet. "We need to take a closer look at these. They might be the key to unraveling the mystery of Rookwood Hall." As they continued to explore, the light filtering through the narrow windows began to shift, casting long shadows across the room. The air was filled with the sounds of their footsteps and the occasional rustle of paper as they examined their findings. Josh paused near one of the shelves, his attention caught by a small box hidden beneath a pile of dusty tomes. It was made of dark wood, the surface smooth and polished, with a delicate latch securing the lid. "Hey, check this out," he said, holding up the box for Lisa to see. She joined him, her eyes bright with interest. "Another hidden treasure?" Josh grinned, carefully lifting the latch. The lid creaked open, revealing a collection of old photographs and letters. The images were sepia-toned, capturing moments frozen in time. "These might be just as important as the journals," Lisa mused. Picking up one of the photos, it depicted a group of people standing in front of the hall, their expressions solemn and serious. Josh examined one of the letters, unfolding the paper with care. The writing was elegant, echoing the script in the journals. "These might give us more insight into the history of the place. We should take them back and see what we can learn." With their discoveries in hand, they made their way back to the surface, the weight of the past pressing gently against their shoulders. The sunlight had grown warmer, casting a golden glow over the hall as they emerged into the garden. Lisa felt a sense of accomplishment, tempered by the knowledge that there was still so much to uncover. "We've only scratched the surface," she said, glancing over at Josh. "There's so much more to learn." Josh nodded, his expression thoughtful. "Rookwood Hall has a long history, and we're only beginning to understand it. But I have a feeling we're on the right track." As they left the hall behind, a newfound determination burning within them, the sun began its descent, casting long shadows across the path. The mysteries of Rookwood Hall whispered their secrets to the wind, weaving a tapestry of intrigue and history that would guide Lisa and Josh on their journey. Their footsteps echoed in the stillness, a promise of discoveries yet to come as they set their sights on the horizon and the adventures that awaited them. Whatever lay ahead, they would face it together, their bond forged in the fires of curiosity and the thrill of the unknown. As they walked, Lisa glanced back at the hall, its silhouette bathed in the soft glow of twilight.